Thank you very much for joining me on this Saturday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Thank you for subscribing and sharing this channel. I do this channel for safety, so thank you for getting the word out. I want to get into, of course, Tammy. It is stronger, a little bit better organized. It is slower. There is the possibility that it could eventually stall. I want to show you that specifically with a European model. We could be talking about Tammy for days and days to come. And then I want to get a look at Jamaica down through Honduras and Costa Rica for the potential of some new tropical development. Hang on, if you're in Jamaica, Belize, Honduras, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama, just hang on a second. I'll get to that. But watching this, let me dive into Tammy now and what is going on. I've been watching this with you overnight, going through the comments with you overnight. So a closer look, northeastern Caribbean, still Puerto Rico. The action will be off to the east. Again, we'll see that chance of rain going up, but it's what we're watching here. Dominica, Martinique with those tropical storm conditions. Guadeloupe and to the north, conditions are going to go downhill. They're going to get worse as we go over the next couple hours. As we work our way into the southeastern Caribbean, here's the system right by Martinique at this point and Barbados. Barbados, the center is to the north, but it's this kind of tail working in. I was talking about this about 3 days ago, and you see some of the rain and storms near Trinidad and Tobago back through Barbados. Barbados, additional flooding possible today. Again, yeah, the core of the system's to the north, but we could see some flooding, isolated flooding, even in Trinidad and Tobago. Keeping an eye on St. Lucia, right on the edge of some rain. We'll get rain bands working in. Same thing, St. Vincent, the Grenadines and Grenada, scattered showers out of this. But here's the core of the system up here. Here's Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, scattered showers now. You see that kind of circle right there? That is the center of this. There is an eye to this, or almost an eye to this, at least a well-defined center, of course. Southern end of what could be the eye, kind of a little bit breaking up a bit. There's some dry air sneaking in, but there's the center, very close to Martinique and Dominica right now, bringing in those tropical storm conditions, and this is going to be very close to Guadeloupe with the potential of very gusty winds. If this strengthens further, we could have some winds near Guadeloupe, gusting to almost 100 miles per hour with this. I'll break down the winds in kilometers an hour and miles per hour in just a moment. I want to go island by island. All islands matter, big or small, so I want to dive into that. Worst weather is now through tonight. Again, a slower system. Can't stress that enough. That means higher rain totals as well. Mudslide potential will be higher. Again, it could stall to the north of Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, and the Virgin Islands. I'll show you that with the European model. Fine line with those impacts. We know how that goes. One island could see a whole lot of nothing. Another island could get a lot. Little shift, little wobble could be a big difference in what we get. Here's the forecast track again, bringing this right over Guadeloupe by the time we get into tonight, and then right into Antigua and Barbuda, St. Martin, St. Bart's, and Anguilla. That's where the worst weather will be. Saba, Statia, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat. We're going to have those strong tropical storm conditions that will move in later today. I'll break that down again island by island for you. Monitoring this in Puerto Rico, British Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands, thank you for your trust so far. All of this, what I've been showing you with my forecast has been holding. Again, I'll watch out for any shift. Yeah, we're going to see that rain chance increase as well in the Virgin Islands. I'll be monitoring this very closely. A lot of uncertainty down the road. You see the models all taking this near Guadeloupe, then Antigua and Barbuda, and then it gets crazy. You see the models kind of all over the place. That's telling me we have the possibility of a stall. So Bermuda down the road. This is not necessarily just going to kick out to sea, as some would say. I'm going to watch Bermuda because eventually this could stall to the north of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and then it may actually spin back down the road. So that's being reflected some in the National Hurricane Center forecast. They've really slowed this thing down as far as the official forecast track due to the uncertainty down the road. Now we're dealing with this. This is the wind field. Again, there's always a lot of focus on the center. The center is just off toward the east this morning of Dominica and Martinique, but you see the wind field in this orange shading is bigger. That is bringing those tropical storm conditions into Dominica this morning, and then eventually into Guadeloupe. We'll get those hurricane conditions as this works in. So Dominica, worse weather now and over the next several hours, and then working its way up to the north where we have those hurricane warnings that are now in effect. Now look at this and how interesting, I should say, this gets with this system, unfortunately, because it looks like it could stall. So here it is. This is the European model. Here's Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela. We have Cuba here, Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. Here's Bermuda right here. So as we get back through here, we've got a couple fronts around. those fronts do help turn it. It has turned some more to the northwest over about the last 6 to 8 hours as it lifts up toward the northwest. You can see it here getting caught up into this front a bit, helping to make its turn, but it is slower. So here's this front right through here, helping to make its turn. This is by the time we get into tonight, so we're still dealing with this. It is slower, so more of a prolonged rain event. And then by the time we get into tomorrow morning, it is sitting very close to Anguilla at this point. Such a crawl, higher rain totals. You see it here. Here is that front that I was just talking about. But what happens with this front is kind of the energy with it moves away. This thing may miss the front. It may not get caught up in this front and spin away. This front moves away. And then as we get into early next week, look at this. It could just be sitting there for days and days. This is on Monday. This is as we get into Tuesday. Even as we work our way into Wednesday, this could be just to the north of Puerto Rico. Now, it does have it weaken at that point because there'll be wind shear. That's a good thing. That would help weaken the system. But you see it here. This is by the time we get into late Tuesday into Wednesday, it could still be sitting there. So that means higher uncertainty as we get into Bermuda. And you always hear me talk about these blockers, these areas of high pressure. Look to the north. Big blue H, that is helping to trap this system. There's no way for it to escape. If it misses that front, it runs into this barrier, this fence right here, and it just kind of sits there. Now, this is a look at the American model, very similar to the European model at this point. I do believe, like I showed you yesterday, again, this all this action will be just a few kilometers closer. I want to get into those winds, the island by island breakdown, and get you into Jamaica in a second. Here's a look at what we're seeing here. This is by the time we get into tonight. I believe this will be a little bit more over here. Okay, so this is a computer. I do believe this will be almost on top of Antigua and Barbuda with the hurricane conditions, and then by Sunday, lifting up to the north by tomorrow morning. But again, here's the core of it. It's going to be a little bit more over here, closer to Anguilla by the time we get into tomorrow morning. There's kind of the tail, those feeder bands working in Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, Statia, Saba, watching over toward St. Bart's and St. Martin. This is by the time we get into Sunday night, system to the north. But again, still, because it's so slow, we'll see some of the rain and even the possibility of some tropical storm gusts. Here's the wind field. The core of it's right here. Again, it's going to shift a little bit more over here. I'll break down those winds in a second for us. Hurricane to tropical storm force winds. This is by tonight. Anguilla, Antigua, and Barbuda down through Guadeloupe. Tropical storm conditions, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat over toward Saba, and then lifting up to the north by the time we get into Sunday morning, tomorrow morning. Here's the core of it, very close to Anguilla. And then, like the European model, this is the American model, just kind of sits there up to the north with either it slowing down or that stall. So the wind field here, this is where we have the tropical storm, this blue shading, or the hurricane winds as this moves in. So you see Saba here, Statia, St. Kitts and Nevis, tropical storm conditions, not far away hurricane conditions, Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart's, Antigua and Barbuda, down through Guadeloupe, and of course Dominica, we're dealing with the tropical storm conditions. Even Martinique, we've got the gusty winds, and we'll be watching those rain bands in Martinique this morning, and that tail action with here over toward Trinidad and Tobago. Now this is a mess here, so there's a lot to talk about. Hang with me. Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, a very high chance of flooding. I've been talking about, I know a lot of focus has been on Tammy, as it should. I've been mentioning this in every video. Look at all this moisture. This is by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon. Still a lot of moisture here. Slight chance of a little tropical development actually here in the southwestern sections of the Caribbean. May not have time to develop tropically, but that means Nicaragua. We're going to see days and days of extra rain, and that means that higher flood threat through Costa Rica and Panama, and then up toward Honduras. You see by Monday, still heavy rain. Here's Jamaica. Jamaica, most of this action down to the south, but I do believe as we get through the end of the month in early November, this here is going to be a hot spot for tropical development. Again, watching this area right now, but there could be additional development near Jamaica or just to the south. I've been seeing some signs that we're going to have a lot of moisture building up. So here's Dominica, winds 95 kilometers an hour or 60 miles per hour at times. Not all the time, but we're going to have those tropical. By the way, I'm going to get back to Jamaica and that development in a second, plus Hurricane Norma in a moment. We're going to have those tropical storm conditions. Worst weather is this morning, but again, a slow system, still tropical storm conditions possible later today. As we work our way into Guadalupe, hurricane conditions, 85-mile-per-hour winds, 135 kilometers an hour. Worst weather throughout the day, even tropical storm conditions for tonight because this is going to be so slow. Antigua and Barbuda winds 85 miles per hour or 135 kilometers an hour. Worst weather today. Conditions will go downhill later today. So again, showed you the system is just kind of to the southeast right now. As it gets closer, worst weather moving in. Anguilla and St. Bart's, we're going to see 60-mile-per-hour winds, 95 kilometers an hour. Worst weather starting later today and then through tonight because of that slowdown. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, we're going to have tropical storm conditions, winds 65 miles per hour or 105 kilometers an hour. Conditions go downhill later today. St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat, same thing, 65-mile-per-hour winds, 105 kilometers an hour. Conditions will go downhill later today with the tropical storm conditions moving in. So we get a look at that 3-day rain total, and I showed you yesterday a lot of this rain was over here. I mentioned it would be a little bit closer, and it will be. We're going to see some totals around 150 millimeters of rain or 6 inches of rain or higher. That is going to lead to the mudslides. Huge concern with the mudslides. Please be safe best you can. As we get down here, St. Lucia, Barbados, down through Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada, even a little enhancement in Venezuela. This will kind of be the tail action, just to wait and see kind of where those feeder bands, some of those rain bands set up that are going to wrap up into Tammy. But the big concern has been those water temperatures and how we're going to get the strengthening, hence more rain, a slower system, the mudslides, water temperatures 30 degrees Celsius, that's mid-80s Fahrenheit. So again, there's a lot of fuel for this and it could get stronger. That's why we could see some of those gusts near 100 miles per hour. So almost all the models here, this is over time in this yellow shading, keep this as a hurricane and then a little weakening down the road once it kind of stalls out because there should be some wind shear that knocks off some of the thunderstorm tops, which helps to weaken it. This out here, this is Norma. This is all that action that we're seeing back in the parts of the Caribbean. You see right here, look at this blob here, a lot of rain here. Panama, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. There is Tammy, spotty showers closer to the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Cayman Islands, Jamaica. We could see a few hit or miss showers and storms, but this spot, low chance of development. It would be a higher chance of development if it could stay over water longer, but this moisture is going to work in. But unfortunately, that means that flood threat in Nicaragua will be getting even higher. So there's a low chance that something could spin up. But down the road, I do believe late month into early November near Jamaica, we could see something kind of try to develop down here in the Western Caribbean. So I've got that in mind. I'll be watching that next. This is Hurricane Norma on track, bringing the tropical storm to hurricane conditions right now. Look at this. It is weakening. It will weaken a little bit as it works in. Even some of that cloud cover up by New Mexico and Texas. You see here La Paz over toward Cabo San Lucas, right on track for the tropical storm and hurricane conditions ongoing. And then as we work our way through the day, this one is also very slow. Gulf of California, we're going to see those tropical storm conditions all the way through tonight and even hurricane conditions into tomorrow morning. Then eventually this will try to work in by later on Sunday into Monday. And then on Monday, some of this moisture could actually feed back toward Texas. You see that right there. Some much needed rain there. But again, the mudslide threat, very high here, tropical storm and hurricane conditions for parts of Mexico. We've been tracking that together. So Barbados, the rain chance high. In some of the rain bands in Barbados and some of the rain bands in St. Lucia, we could have tropical storm conditions. Get some of those gustier winds, wind-driven rain. That'll be a possibility. Watching St. Lucia and Barbados, Martinique, we have near tropical storm conditions this morning. I was highlighting that for you as this system lifts to the north. Puerto Rico, scattered showers and storms. You see by Monday, if this system stalls to the north, rain chance will be even higher in Puerto Rico. Same thing U.S. and British Virgin Islands, that rain chance will be bumping up. Watching out for the stall of the system just to the north. Trinidad and Tobago, some of those feeder bands moving in. We had some thunder and lightning overnight. I was watching that this morning, or really overnight. Grenada, watching out for those scattered showers and storms. And as we work our way into St. Vincent the Grenadines, scattered showers and storms with some of those rain bands that will be moving in. Haiti, this action with Tammy is well off to the east, but scattered showers and storms will be possible. Dominican Republic, scattered showers and storms, rain chance 60% tomorrow and again on Monday. About a 50% chance in Jamaica, just kind of unsettled around with an old front nearby. Same thing in the Cayman Islands. Those scattered showers will be possible. Bermuda, it is wet at times for sure. Today, we'll be watching out for what happens down to the south with Tammy. Belize, an isolated shower or storm. Most of the action is just to the south. Same thing in Yucatan, spotty shower or storm. 40% chance the next few days through the Bahamas. We'll see a few showers and storms around. A 50% chance in the Turks and Caicos. And again, in the Turks and Caicos, monitoring what happens with Tammy. Cuba, rain chance about 30%. Central and eastern zones, better chance of some rain. Aruba and Curacao, we could get a few showers and storms. At least that rain chance is up a little bit. A 30% chance over toward Bonaire. But again, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama, Honduras, even parts of El Salvador and Guatemala, that flood threat will be higher. Scattered showers and storms northern Venezuela. Little enhancement in Guyana and Suriname. Rain chance will be up a little higher. 30% chance in Suriname as we take you through the day. So again, Tammy hitting the northeastern Caribbean. It is a slower system, more of a prolonged event. Central America, we have the flooding, Norma moving into Mexico, and we could see new development in the Caribbean, especially the Western Caribbean, later this month. A long way to go, 40 days left in the hurricane season. Now, please be safe. This is a weather community for you. Leave the comments. Let us know what's going on safely, of course. Put your location and the weather you have. I'll be going through that throughout the day. I am watching things. I've been watching things overnight. I will do so throughout the day. I'm on top of this. Thank you for sharing this channel. Please be safe.